Hello and welcome to this next class of the UPSC Mains Answer Writing Initiative. This is class number 49. Means for the last 49 days consecutively we are here at 7 p.m. to take up a previous year question from the UPSC Mains examination, analyze that, help you practice answer writing and also give you homework right at the end. If you are new here, I would request you to first hit the subscribe button and then go ahead. Also, if you have been here for a long time and you have still not hit the subscribe button, please do that. It will be very well appreciated. This is an endeavor to make sure that any hesitation that you have for answer writing goes away. And that is why every single evening at 7 p.m. we are here to take up a previous year question that the UPS has already asked. Before we take up today's topic, a couple of very important announcements. First one, to help you conquer the essay paper in the mains examination and to help you get an attractive score in essay, I have written a booklet that has 101 model essays for the UPSC mains examination. Most of the topics are philosophical in nature, in line with the topics that the UPSC has been asking in the recent years in the mains examination. In order to buy this booklet, which is only 499 rupees, what you can do is download my app. I'm giving the link of my Android app in the description of the video. You can download that, you can buy the course from there, and you can be a part of those group of people who have taken advantage of this essay booklet. Apart from that, I'm also running a Mastering UPSC Mains Answer Writing program. A lot of you have already enrolled in that and you have been seeing the benefits out of that. As you know, this is a one-on-one mentorship program where I will be hand-holding you, guiding you into the journey of the UPSC Mains exam of how to write these answers. This is not just a test series. This is much more than that, where I'll be personally mentoring you to try and help you navigate through the UPSC answer writing. If you need any more questions answered regarding this course, this is the contact detail. You can get in touch and we can resolve all your doubts. Now, let's see what is it that we will be doing today. Before taking up today's question, once again, a reminder that I always give you in every single class. If you are new here, in case this is your first ever class of answer writing, I would highly recommend you to first go to the first class number 1 of this series. In the first class of this series, I had discussed in detail about how to structure an answer, how to write the introduction, the main body, the conclusion, where to write the way forward, where not to write the way forward, so on and so forth. So in case you need any help with that, go ahead and just click on the description of the video. You will get the link of the playlist and go to class number 1. That can be extremely helpful for you. Now let's see what question I'll be taking up today. Today we are taking up a question from 2022 GS1. This question is from Indian Society. We had taken a few questions earlier as well of Indian Society, and we had seen how most of the questions of Indian Society don't require any technical knowledge per se to be answered. A lot of these questions are common sense based questions. A lot of these questions can be answered just by observing common things around you. And this is a similar kind of a question. The question is, how is the growth of tier 2 cities related to the rise of new middle class with an emphasis on the culture of consumption? So the question says that we have seen the growth of tier 2 cities in India, and that is parallel to the rise of the new middle class in India. Now, as the number of people in the middle class are increasing, we are seeing a lot more people happy being based out of tier 2 cities, running their businesses from there, getting their jobs in tier 2 cities, not aspiring to move to bigger cities. That is what the question is all about. So you have to write how these two things are connected. The rise in the tier 2 cities along with the rise in the new middle class, with an emphasis on the culture of consumption. When you say culture of consumption, means people buying more things, people using more things, spending more money. That is what the culture of consumption is. In the introduction, once again, we will start with a fact or a definition. Now over here, it's important to first define what are tier 2 cities. We usually use this in a very informal way, that I live in a tier 2 city or I come from a tier 3 city, so on and so forth. But there has to be an exact definition of what do you mean by tier 2 city, what do you mean by tier 3 city. So we'll start with that. As per the government, cities with a population size of 50,000 and 1 lakh, between that are categorized as tier 2 cities in India. So we have first defined tier 2 cities. The second point in the question is about the middle class. So we'll define both. First we have defined the tier 2 cities, now we'll define middle class. It's a group of those individuals who fall between the working class and the upper class within a socio-economic hierarchy. In Western culture, person in the middle class has a higher proportion of college degrees than those in the working class, but they might not have as much money as the people in the higher class. So again, we will first define these two, because these two are the main points around which the question is. Tier 2 cities and the middle class, we have defined both of them. Now in the main body, we'll first try and identify, make a relationship between the new middle class that is emerging and the tier 2 cities. Now in these kind of questions in Indian society, etc., where you don't have to write any technical stuff, it's important to have some data with you. The more data that you have, the more real examples or facts that you have, the impressive your answer will be. For example, there is a rise in entrepreneurship in the tier 2 cities. We have seen a lot more entrepreneurs coming from tier 2 cities as compared to earlier. Earlier, when entrepreneurship was restricted to certain cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai, etc. Now we have seen 50% of India's GDP and over 64% of jobs from tier 2, tier 3 cities. We have also seen increased wages of people living in these cities. Earlier, it was believed that if you want to earn a higher pay package, you need to move to certain cities in India. But now that is not true. There have been increased government efforts as well to give a push to entrepreneurship all across the country, rather than being confined to just a few handful of cities. There are schemes such as Make in India, Stand Up India, Mudra Yojana, under which you can get loans easily. All these factors have led to this strong connection between the rise in the tier 2 cities and the rise of the new middle class. Also, we'll give some reasons of why tier 2 cities are emerging as the main growth engines. See, living in a tier 2 city is preferable by many people because of lower cost of living. Buying a same, or rather renting a same kind of a house in a tier 1 city like Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore can cost you twice as much as compared to what you would pay in a tier 2 city. There have been increasing employment opportunities. Also, since a lot of work is now happening online, you don't really need to visit places. Work from home is on a rise. That is why it has become much more feasible to be settled in these cities and still work for multinational companies that might be headquartered somewhere else in your country or in any other country. The companies are also realizing that for many of the companies, establishing their branch in tier 2 cities is being seen as an attractive option. It reduces their cost of operation as well. Even if they pay certain lesser salary to people from tier 2 cities, it is still acceptable because again there is not much competition. Because of which tier 2 cities are seeing a major growth engine or major growth proportion in the past few years or so. This is how we write the main body. First, identifying the connection between the two, and then talking about how emergence of the tier 2 cities is related to how India's growth has been seen in the past few years. And then we'll conclude about how the correlation between the two is not just one directional, it is actually related to consumption culture, because people are opting for buying more stuff. People have much more disposable income in their hand, because of which the culture of consumption is bound to increase. That is how we will conclude this particular question. And now it is time for you to deploy your skills at answer writing with this practice question. What difficulties arise in safeguarding consumer safety when promoting alternative medicines in India? How well does the existing legal and regulatory framework shield consumers from deceptive advertising in this context? You all know advertisements, especially in the field of medicine, have been in the news with Baba Ramdev and Patanjali Ayurved being in the Supreme Court time and time again. Supreme Court not being very happy with the false advertisements carried out by the company. In this context, this question has been formed. See if you can write an answer in 200 words. If you want, I'll be happy to evaluate. You can mail this here. I'll take usually 2 to 3 days to revert back to you. Do consider joining the programs that I talked to you about earlier, the mains answer writing, mastering mains answer writing program, and also taking that essay booklet to help you score much better marks in essay paper. Thank you so much. Join me tomorrow at 7 p.m. for the next session. Till then, have a good day. Bye-bye. Jai Hind.